gold, silver, all these crystals, they're on the land for a reason, and that is to clean the water. They're on the land to clean the water so that we can have fresh, clean water. And most tribes around the world know this, that if you take the minerals from the earth, the ability to drink from bores and wells and creeks and billabongs, that water needs to be treated so we can actually drink it, because it's no longer healthy for us. So we take these minerals out of the ground because we think they're worth money, because they can create technology, and then technology is created in order to invoke control, you see. So you go back to the feudal system, those with the strongest metals can outdo the other armies, and they get to be the more powerful castle in the region. So what is it? Water, seeds, land, gold, silver, minerals. And then the last one, and it's really the only real currency on the earth at the moment, because all the other money is what we call fiat. It already represents debt before you put it in your wallet. All the other currencies around the world are based on a debt-based system, which was set up by the petrodollar, American Federal Reserve, after the Second World War to completely destroy our economy and our free market. And this is also they could have more control over what the produce on the shelves in a supermarket is actually worth. Rather than having fluctuating prices every week on various items based on supply and demand, we now have a governance of what things actually cost. And then we give subsidies through the systems in order to maintain those price margins. So we take away the ability for people to have a resource-based economy. And so really the only currency left in the world that isn't controlled by a government is actually Bitcoin. And they've been trying to destroy Bitcoin for a long time, since back in 2012, because they know that it's an uncontrollable thing, and Bitcoin is the new gold, even though Bitcoin Cash, after the fork in 2014, Bitcoin Cash is actually more accurate to the white paper from Satoshi Nakamoto. Satoshi Nakamoto isn't a person. The white paper is a group of people who have all added a bit here and a bit there, and we're still not sure whether it was the government that leaked it or a very smart individual who decided to leak it into the public sphere. And recently we had a court hearing in America with some guy claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto, and this is just so that they could bring it under federal governance so that they could instill a digital currency, central digital currency. Not a blockchain-based currency, but a central digital currency. So they needed to bring digital currency under the law through legislation, and they could only do that by having someone of origin who claimed that they were the inventor. They hold the patents. They hold the property rights. So crypto is now the new gold for the central digital currency, which will be instilled in every country all over the world. And I don't know why I'm talking in this voice, but it just helps a little bit. And so what we're going to have is a digital-based central currency. And it's the same system as what we had before, but we get to do away with all the old debt-based systems, and all these governments get to wipe their hands clean of all the debt they've created for the people. And everyone's got lots and lots of cash in their houses now. There's more cash in the hands of Australian people than the government is printing, or the government has in supply. We know this because they're using supplies from before 2007. They're using the old cash supplies that were printed years ago. They're not printing any more money. They're just maintaining the system for as long as possible before they change it to a new system. And if you look at the old money that doesn't have a microchip in it, you'll see that the two numbers on it are different sizes. And the reason why those two numbers are different sizes is because it's not a real currency. It's a fictional tender. It's fiat. And then what they did is they said that we're going to put a little microchip in the plastic so that we know where all the money is. And they claimed that that was so that blind people could actually feel what number denomination the note actually was. So now there's microchips in our money, so they know where all the money is if they just fly over with a sonar system in a helicopter. So they know if you're hiding these new notes with the plastic bit in the middle and the microchip on it. They know where all that money is. But the old money is still legal tender back to the Commonwealth, even though it's still fiat. So a lot of people have been collecting that, and that's what the government will try and do next, is try and outlaw any old currencies, because they're more appropriate to jurisdiction than the new ones. But we won't do away with cash, because there's no way in the world we're going to have enough telecommunication in regional areas in order to have an exchange of goods and services. So we'll still have cash. They're just going to saturate the market to a point in which the cash isn't worth as much as it is now. And they do this by hyping fuel prices. Fuel prices should have gone down. The only reason why fuel prices went up was because every country had to restock their oil reserves. So fuel prices should be going down, but the government has decided, nah, we won't let that happen. We'll up our tariffs, we'll up our trading costs with other countries. And that usually leads to war. When we limit the ability for there to be a high velocity of exchange with valuable resources such as gold, silver, oil, copper, lithium, we usually go into a wartime period because countries don't have the resources required to maintain the peace. Countries don't have the resources they require to maintain the peace. And that's why Australia is going to be the next empire, because we're the only country that still has the resources to maintain its population. We are the only country in the world left that has enough valuable resources to maintain the population under a military-industrial complex, under a modern technocracy, under a, communist government. But don't take my word for it. Tune into the news this afternoon, 7:30 report. You know, they'll have a nice peace-loving story for you that'll coggle your heart and make you feel good about yourself and distract you with KFC commercials. Because really the biggest burden in modern society is deciding whether to have a Colonel, a Big Mac, or a Big Mac with your fried potato. You know, what you eat with your fried potato matters, apparently. And and the fried potato can be done slightly different, but that's pretty much all the meals, is you get to choose what goes with your fried potato, whether it's a kebab, a burger. And that's the freedom of choice we have in this country. We don't have any real freedoms, but we have the freedom to decide what we buy off the supermarket shelf. And that's really good, because we can shut down our brain by filling our bodies with crap. Because the minute you actually put some of these high content salts, sodiums, potassium, sugars into your body, it actually goes into your gut. And if your gut isn't feeding the minerals to your brain appropriately, it shuts down your ability to actually have comprehensive thought. And that's what they've been doing. They've been shutting down our brains because they don't want us to think. They don't want us to understand that there's more to this life than going to a mundane job, having kids, forcing them to go to school just so they can have a mundane job, have a mortgage, have a car loan, and so on and so on and so on. It's just an experience that has been sold to us via the media and the movies. We all live in an existential crisis where if a date doesn't feel like it's from that romantic comedy I watched the other night, I'm not going to go out on another date with this fella, because he's not giving me the experience that I've bought into. You know, they make movies about teenagers in high school and all this sort of stuff just so that they can program to think that that's appropriate. You know, you look into TV shows like Skins. Wow. Skins is all about drugs and trying to get older people to have sex with younger people. It's a ridiculous show, but it's programming these kids to think outside of their comfort zone. Teenagers should be focused, shouldn't be at school. They should be focused on what they are cleverly able to productively create. Teenagers should be focused on what they are cleverly able to productively create. Because the truth is, the only way to educate yourself is by spending 10,000 hours focused on one task, one point of education. That's why we talk about dreams with these young kids, because we want them to have a dream and we want them to go after it. But we've also told them that dreams are superfluous if you don't have the money to achieve it, which is bullshit. But anyway, so life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.